Good morning. Police raids in Rio de Janeiro have left over 130 people dead, one of the deadliest operations in Brazilian history. I'm Remo, and this is the Daily Signal for October 30th, 2025. Stay tuned for the rest of the stories.
Unfiltered. Now,
Here are the other top stories for October 30th, 2025. Hurricane Melissa kills at least 27 across Caribbean, leaves millions without power. Trump and Xi Jinping hold unprecedented emergency meeting amid rising tensions. Rob Jetten poised to become Netherlands' youngest and first openly gay prime minister. Louvre heist suspects partially confessed to stealing priceless Renaissance artwork. Israel announces ceasefire return as Gaza death toll hits 104 in latest strikes. Sudan paramilitary forces massacre hundreds, including hospital patients in Darfur. Daily Show mocks Trump's diplomatic stumbles during high-stakes Japan visit. Video evidence reveals staged recovery of Israeli hostage. Remains U.S. military begins strategic troop withdrawal from Eastern European bases. Now let's dive into each story. Over 130 people are dead, following what Brazilian authorities are calling an anti-drug operation in Rio de Janeiro's favelas. This marks one of the deadliest police actions in the country's modern history. Here's what happened. Elite police units stormed multiple locations across Rio's largest slums yesterday, targeting suspected drug trafficking networks. The operation, dubbed Iron Fist, lasted 18 hours and involved over 400 officers with military-grade equipment. The shocking detail? Witnesses report police executed residents who posed no threat, including elderly civilians caught in crossfire. Human rights groups are calling it a massacre disguised as law enforcement. Why this matters? Brazil's war on drugs has spiraled into unprecedented violence under new hardline policies. This operation's death toll exceeds entire monthly homicide rates for major U.S. cities. International observers worry Brazil is adopting military tactics against its own citizens. Rio's governor defended the operation, claiming it dismantled major trafficking rings. But with bodies still being counted, this story is far from over. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, Hurricane Melissa has killed at least 27 people across Cuba, Haiti, and Jamaica, with winds reaching 300 kilometers per hour. This Category 5 monster is being called the strongest storm to hit the region in over a decade. The destruction is staggering. 75% of Jamaica lost power, entire neighborhoods in Haiti are underwater, and over 700,000 Cubans remain in emergency shelters. In Jamaica alone, rescue teams are searching for dozens still missing after coastal towns were completely flattened. Here's the critical detail. Climate scientists say Melissa's rapid intensification from Category 1 to 5 in just 24 hours represents a new pattern of superstorms fueled by record ocean temperatures. Why this matters? The Caribbean's tourism-dependent economies face billions in losses. More importantly, this storm pattern signals what coastal communities worldwide should expect as climate change accelerates. Haiti, still recovering from previous disasters, may need international intervention to prevent humanitarian collapse. The death toll is expected to rise as remote areas remain unreachable. Speaking of international tensions, Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping held an emergency face-to-face meeting yesterday, their first since 2019. The hastily arranged summit comes as trade tensions and military posturing reach dangerous new heights. Here's what we know. The 2-hour closed-door session occurred at a neutral location in Singapore. No advisors were present, and both sides agreed to unprecedented media restrictions. That level of secrecy suggests either breakthrough negotiations or crisis management. The backdrop is critical. China recently conducted massive military exercises near Taiwan, while Trump threatened 100% tariffs on Chinese goods. Economic experts warned of imminent trade war escalation that could trigger global recession. Why this matters? These two leaders control 40% of global GDP and the world's largest militaries. Their relationship directly affects everything from your smartphone prices to international stability. Early reports suggest they discussed mutual concerns, but neither side released specific agreements. This diplomatic poker game has the world watching. On the political front in Europe, Rob Jetten is set to become the Netherlands' youngest prime minister at age 37, and the country's first openly gay leader. His centrist coalition secured enough votes to form government after months of political deadlock. Here's the breakthrough. Jetton's D66 party bridged the gap between left and right factions, promising moderate policies on immigration while maintaining progressive social positions. His appointment signals Europe's continued shift toward younger, more diverse leadership. The significance goes beyond symbolism. Jetton faces massive challenges, including housing shortages, climate goals, and rising populism. His ability to unite fractured politics could influence similar movements across Europe. Why this matters. The Netherlands punches above its weight in EU politics. Jetton's pragmatic approach may offer a template for centrist coalitions fighting populist movements continent-wide. Moving to cultural crimes. Suspects in last month's daring Louvre heist have partially admitted involvement in stealing 3 Renaissance masterpieces worth over 500 million euros. French police say the confession breakthrough came after weeks of international manhunt. The audacious crime shocked the art world. Thieves somehow bypassed multiple security systems to steal works by Da Vinci, Raphael, and Caravaggio during a power outage. Initial investigations suggested inside knowledge of museum protocols. Here's the key detail. Police won't specify which aspects suspects admitted to, suggesting ongoing negotiations or undisclosed accomplices. The stolen artworks remain missing, and authorities fear they've already left France. Why this matters. This heist exposed vulnerabilities in protecting irreplaceable cultural heritage. Museums worldwide are reviewing security protocols, while insurance companies estimate art theft costs billions annually. The partial confessions might be plea bargaining, but without recovering the masterpieces, this case remains far from solved. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Israel's military announced a ceasefire is back on after strikes in Gaza killed 104 people in the deadliest 48-hour period in months. The announcement came hours after international pressure reached fever pitch. The escalation was swift and brutal. Israeli forces targeted what they called terrorist infrastructure, while Palestinian groups launched retaliatory rockets toward major cities. Civilian casualties mounted rapidly, with hospitals reporting they couldn't handle the wounded. Here's the critical development. Egypt and Qatar mediated emergency talks that secured the renewed ceasefire. Both sides agreed to return to previous truce terms, but tensions remain explosive. Why this matters. This cycle of violence and ceasefires has become tragically routine, but each escalation risks broader regional conflict. With 104 dead in just 2 days, the human cost continues climbing while political solutions remain elusive. The ceasefire officially begins at midnight local time, but past agreements show how fragile these truces remain. Looking across today's stories, we see 3 critical patterns shaping our world right now. First, violence is escalating globally. From Rio's police massacre to Gaza's deadly strikes and Sudan's atrocities, 2025 is proving deadlier for civilians than recent years. This isn't coincidence, it's the breakdown of international norms and accountability. Second, climate disasters are intensifying. Melissa's unprecedented, rapid intensification mirrors patterns we're seeing worldwide. The Caribbean devastation is a preview of what coastal communities globally will face as ocean temperatures rise. Third, political leadership is fragmenting. Emergency meetings between Trump and Xi, the Netherlands coalition breakthrough, and ongoing conflicts all reflect a world struggling to maintain diplomatic solutions. Here's what this means for you. These aren't distant problems. Brazilian-style police operations could spread to other nations facing drug crises. Climate refugees from hurricane-devastated islands will seek new homes. Trade tensions between superpowers affect your daily costs. The common thread? We're living through a period where traditional institutions, from local police to international diplomacy, are being tested like never before. Tomorrow, we'll continue tracking these developing stories. Subscribe for daily updates, share this episode with someone who needs to stay informed, and remember, staying engaged with global events isn't just important, it's essential. This has been The Daily Signal. I'm Remo. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Unfiltered.